There it is. Just a gorgeous little bottle. I spilled it. Well, there we have what's left.
To me, passion means more than loving. It's my way of living.
Sophia.
It's laughing and exploring life, making mistakes instead of playing it safe.
Sophia.
I want to do everything with a passion. That's how I feel about my life and my fragrance. It has to be experienced.
Sophia, the fragrance of living and loving.
Sophia.
Wear it with a passion.
Hi everyone, Leonard Smith from Sense Memory, and today we're talking about Sophia Loren. This fragrance is really something very special. It was launched in 1980, and I actually got to go to the San Francisco launch in 1980 and see Sophia Loren in person, and what an experience that was. So I'll paint the picture for you. I was working as the head artist in a flag factory, and we made flags of all nations, including I was responsible for creating the silk screens and also the patterns for the sewn flags. So when I heard that Sophia Loren was coming to town, I asked my boss if I could have half the day off so I could go to the Emporium department store, which is now the Westfield Shopping Center, where Bloomingdale's is, with the big dome. And that dome is saved from the old Emporium. Anyway, my boss said, okay, you can go. So I went down there about noon, I guess it was, and walked into the store and to the center of the store where the dome was. And they had a big, huge round counter under the dome with a big kind of platform behind it with flowers on top. And there was a little stage set up there, and that was the fragrance department right in the center of the store. So there were probably 300 people there. And I got up to maybe 20 feet from this raised platform in front of the fragrance counter. And we waited, and finally there was this incredible rustle of oohs and ahs coming from the back, and she was coming from the back up towards the front, and people started cheering and applauding. And she came up, and they helped her up onto this platform, and she smiled and waved and was incredibly beautiful, and very tan, and that mane of hair of hers, and the beautiful, beautiful eyes, perfectly made up, and she was elegantly dressed, but effused this kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Earthy warmth, and was just really, you could just feel that she was just really thrilled to be there. Then she took her glasses out of her bag and she put them on, and when she put them on, she was shocked, because I guess she's really nearsighted, but she saw how many people were there and how happy we were all to see her, and she started blowing kisses, and it was just wonderful. And she talked for a while about her perfume and her book. She'd written a book, an autobiography, Anyway, it was a great experience. And I know I smelled that perfume then just to smell it, but I don't have any recollection of it. So, as you saw in the opener, I did spill more than half of the bottle. So, here it is. And so I know what it smells like now because I was covered in it. My keyboard was covered in it. Thank God it still works. And the house smelled like Sophia Loren for a day and a half. Anyway, a little bit about this fragrance. It is an Oriental spicy. And there's a wonderful book that I want to share with you. I shared with you before. It's by Barbara Herman, and it's called Scent and Subversion, Decoding a Century of Provocative Perfumes. And I looked in here to see if I could find what the notes were, because the notes listed on Fragrantica were very, I knew there were more than 2 notes in here, so I did find out. But the top notes are aldehydes, complex bergamot, orange, spice oils. The heart notes are clove, cinnamon, bark, jasmine, rose, orris, ylang ylang, and orchid. And the base notes are musk, amber, vetiver, sandalwood, vanilla, benzoin, leather, and incense. So Barbara talks about how this fragrance doesn't really fit into 1980 very well. She refers to it as a throwback to the 1930s, to houses like Lucien Lelong. And I have to agree with her. It smells wonderful. I don't even have to open it because it still permeates or soaks the outside of the bottle, and it's a little sticky from the oils, but it is so incensey and leathery and rich, and it's of course sold and marketed as a feminine perfume, but I'll tell you, it has a masculine edge that is quite interesting, and it has a sophistication and a certain subtlety in comparison to fragrances of the late 70s and early 80s. It's not a big hair, a big bold, the higher the hair, the closer to God kind of fragrance from that period, but rather it is subtle and insinuating and encompassing a kind of sophisticated glamour that the 80s were not about. They were about in-your-face glamour, and the bigger the better. And this has a real charm to it. It really is a beauty and a treasure. And unfortunately, I spilled almost all of it, but I think I'm going to go out and get another one. I found mine on eBay. They range in price depending on if you want to get the box and the whole setup, from like $200 down to, I found one for $25 in this bottle. And then they have the EDT sprays. This is Pure Parfum. Oh, golly, wow, this is such a beauty. Just beautiful. So there you have a little bit about Sophia by Sophia Loren, and it is really something. So this is Lanier Smith from Since Memory saying, remember, wear what you love and not what they say you should like. Cheers.
Con chào thân ái.